Welcome to Vancouver. And welcome to the Vancouver Auto Show. And the Acura RS KOENIGSEGG is revealed. Okay, right now we're heading off into the Vancouver International Auto Show. Hi. Yes, please.
All right.
Okay, so what can top a Bugatti? A KOENIGSEGG right there. Look at that. Let's just zoom in. That is the KOENIGSEGG. Okay, what's behind me is worth admission to this show alone. Take a look at this. The KOENIGSEGG Acura RS, the fastest car in the world. This car has gone 277.87 miles per hour, and not only that, it's gorgeous. That I can afford. Okay, we made it to the bottom floor of the show. This is where most of all the new cars are, where you can actually get in them and take a look at what you've got here. Okay, one other thing I want to do today is that my son is getting closer and closer to the age of 16 when he will be driving a car soon. So it's a little scary, but what in a car show would be good for a young teenage, a first-time driver? So we're going to ask Sean. This is Sean. Sean's going to actually take us through what cars would be best for a teenager, maybe for their first car, something that a teenager would really appreciate. And we're going to have a look. Let's have a look. Okay, I think we found something here. Okay, so here we have a 2018 ILX Acura. Starts at $29,000, which is definitely affordable for some people, maybe even for a first car. But I think you want a performance version. That is the A-Spec. And it has a 2.4 liter 16-valve direct injection VTEC engine. Okay, Sean, we're in the 2018 ILX Acura A-Spec. What do you think? Does this car appeal to a teenager in any shape or form?
It's a very cool car. It has two screens right here.
We got two screens, that's right. This one's deeply inset. This is probably a touch screen, which is nice. But you know, it's not as big as some of the other cars.
No, definitely not. Like the Hellcat is much more bigger than that.
That's right. But you cannot drive the Hellcat for your first car. Now this is practical because you can take all your friends with you. We've got room for 5 in this car. It's got all these controls right on the steering wheel, so you do not have to take your hands off the steering wheel, which is a safety feature. You got your stereo controls, you got your cruise controls, volume, and also you can change options in the screen here. This is, of course, an automatic, and it's very straightforward. You have heated seats, which is an important thing for a teenager, and a hidden compartment Okay, our USBs are down here, which is a little inconvenient. We have a very bare looking box. You can see where some of the price savings are in this car. Some of the plastics are not really the highest grade. But, you know, what do you expect for that kind of price? $39,000 does not go as far. And this is cool. Look at that. Engine start light.
It's red.
And it's red. What more do you need? What do you think, Sean?
Yeah, the visibility definitely isn't that good. The features, though, it seems pretty good. Has power shifters, 2 screens, and I think automatic's pretty good for first drivers, you know, first learning.
Absolutely.
And yeah, it has lots of different features, but the visibility is not very good, and the quality of the materials isn't top.
Yep, and again, for the price point, and there's no USB connectivity in the front of the console, which would be nice if they had that in cars. Anyway, let's move on to the next car.
I'd rather die than be seen in one of these things.
Okay, here we have the Smart Electric Drive Coupe. Now this could be a perfect car for a teenager. It looks quite cool. Look at those tail lamps. Okay, so this is a 2-seat car, just you and your girlfriend. And there's no room in the back except for maybe a few small pieces of luggage. This is a very small car. And this is very funky. Look at this. Okay, this does actually have a fairly large touchscreen in the center. That's not much different from the other ones.
Oh, cool.
We have storage right there. We have storage right here. Oh, look how it's small.
It's tiny.
A little sort of area where you can put a few loose items.
This isn't gonna...
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Look at this, look how tiny that is.
Oh,
Now that's not going to fit a very large coffee cup at all. There's your automatic transmission, very simple. Climate controls, and I assume the stereo is in here. And we have little balls that control the airflow. As a teenager, what are your reasons why you do not think this car is cool? So we're talking cool factor, right? Obviously it's not too expensive. Obviously it's good on gas. It won't cost too much money. What is missing?
It's just a really odd car. Like, it's really tiny, and it doesn't really have the proper shape of a car. Like, this is it's actually reasonably tall, but like, it's very short.
So it doesn't have the cool factor.
Yeah.
Even though it does have a fairly large screen. How are the connectivity? Does it have a USB at the front or any other?
I don't oh, it has a USB right here.
We have a 12 volt here, and we have a USB and maybe a card.
And auxiliary.
Auxiliary. So again, at the back of the console, I don't believe there's anything at the front, is there? No. No, they never seem to put it at the front. Okay, so this car lacks a certain cool factor, although it is definitely different. There's no doubt about that. If you want to be different, this could be a car for you. But it's not a car for Sean.
it's not a family car. It's really small, and if you have kids, I suggest you don't buy this car. It can only fit 2 people in it.
I agree with Liam's assessment. This is definitely not a family car.
It's $30,000 for a car like this, and some of those other cars that we've been looking at are like $30,000, sometimes even cheaper for, you know, a car that can hold a lot more stuff and do a lot more things.
So you're saying it's not really a good value? I mean, you don't have a trunk, you can't fit more than 2 people. It's not necessarily a good value for the amount of money they're asking for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the Smart is not for Sean. Okay, so here we have an AMG E43 4MATIC. This is a beautiful car. This vehicle is priced at $99,000 and $700. This Mercedes is luxurious and beautiful. Look at the actually artistic work done on these speakers. This is a thing of beauty. There is obviously a lot of money in this car. Is this a good car for a teenager? What do you say, Sean?
I don't know the price, but I think it's a little expensive. I don't know the price, but I think it's a little expensive.
This is undoubtedly expensive, but would a teenager like to drive such a car as this?
I think so. This car has lots of class and a lot of features, and it actually looks very nice. And there's 3 back seats and a pretty good truck.
Yeah, it's got a large trunk. It actually does fit 3 people in the back, 2 in the front.
And
it's got a ginormous screen. I just wish that it was on, that we could... Okay, take your foot off the brake. Is it off? Yeah. No. I just wish that... Oh, look at the screen. The screen is lighting up a little bit. This goes right across. You just have to see it to believe it. This is the new era of screens. If you like electronic games, I think anybody's gonna like this screen. So I think it is gonna be a little expensive for a teenager's first car, but I think that this would impress in the high school parking lot. What do you think, Sean?
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so Sean's gonna put this one on his list and we'll see if he gets it when he turns 16. Okay, so the i3 is a fantastic little car that might be perfectly suitable for a teenager. Let's find out. Okay, so I kind of like the interior of this car because it's so different. Look at this. We have, it looks like real wood here. And then a nice little cubby. And again, a screen that looks separate from the whole dash. This is different. Yeah, see, perfect for your smartphone right there. And then, Sean, what's this?
That has to be my gauges.
Yeah. So that's actually the gauge pad of the car. And this is your drive select, perhaps?
It's all the way up here.
Yeah, this is very different. So what are your initial impressions, Sean?
It's odd.
But there is room for, I guess, 4 in this car altogether. You got a big back seat. And of course, this is the plug-in electric car. Oh, nice. That's like watching TV. Very nice. It's a little plasticky, the leather or vinyl, whatever this is, looks different from all the other BMW cars. Okay, Sean, would this make a good teenager first car?
Well, I mean, kinda. It's not the biggest car in the world, but also, I don't know the price, so I don't know how much it's worth.
No, we'll check the price later. We have the drive select here, perhaps. We have one cup holder here. We have a cup holder below the armrest right here. And we have a 12 volts.
And a USB.
And a USB. But nothing at the front. We have a lot of room right here in the center area. So this is definitely a different type of vehicle.
How do you get into the back?
And there is your glove box. Okay, so the design, the materials are not of the highest grade, but some of the design elements are really interesting. Some of the shapes. And of course it has a really funky look. Really funky look. This stands out in the road for sure. Everyone's gonna see you coming, it's gonna know what you're driving. But you know, you're saving gas and maybe saving the planet. Base price of $56,000, so actually this is a fairly expensive car. And I gotta say that for the interior quality materials, it's not up to that price at all. Definitely different. And so Sean, what do you think? A good teenager first car or not?
Not really, a little too expensive for a first car price range. There's not much space. It's a 4-seater and it has quite a bit of stuff. It's also not very cool.
Car definitely does not have a real cool factor with the teenager at this point. Okay, what could be a better first teenager car than a Mini, of course, a Mini. In this case, we have a Mini Clubman. You have a 4-seat car that actually, they're getting kind of big. They're not so mini anymore. And this base price is $30,000, which might be acceptable for a car. Now, this one, of course, starts at $43,000 as shown on the floor here. Let's get inside and take a look. Okay, so we actually have music going, which is pretty good. Don't know if we can turn that down. Yeah. Which was wrong. There you go. We got the volume. You know what's cool about this? Is that this is totally cool. Look at this.
Round.
A round center screen. The only one I've just seen so far. And it's got nice piano black. It looks like a little better fit and finish than the i8, the BMW that we just looked at. It's actually got a lot of room in here. You got these special toggle switches, like an aircraft style. See? Yeah. That is cool. That is very cool. I love this center screen, although the actual screen itself is not that large. The actual screen size itself is not that large, although the housing looks large. We have an automatic transmission, of course, here. Lots of bright work. If you like a little bit of chrome, you're gonna like this.
This part here is actually really cool. The start-stop looks really cool here.
That's really different. Instead of a button, they have a toggle switch for the start-stop. That is different.
And you have a USB and an auxiliary, and I thing.
Yeah, and you notice that that's right at the front of the car, which is very
Easy to
convenient.
see.
And
At 12 volts.
this looks like this is where you could put your phone, maybe they have charging down there too, right?
And this is also a 12 volt here.
Yep, 12 volt, all at the front of the car, which is very convenient. What about the driving position? How do you like it?
Seats are adjustable, and I kind of like it. It's easy to see.
Yeah, I've noticed that myself. The visibility is really good because this windshield doesn't slope too much. It comes kind of straight down. You can actually touch the base of the windshield. That gives good visibility. Of course, the A-pillars are pretty large. I notice how these speakers sort of stick out into your view a little bit, but that's a cool feature. Automatic, of course, so good for a first-timer. And the steering wheel fits good in your hand. Oh, and of course, we have a fairly dull-looking glove box, and it's pretty small.
Also another USB.
A USB in the center. Sorry, a USB in the front of the glove box, and it's a dual-position glove box. You can go like this, and you got room for
Your phone.
Your phone, and it's got a rubber surface, so it doesn't move around. It's kind of nice. Or maybe it's for something else. Oh, there you go, adjustable. There you go, put that in. And there we go.
Can
See?
it charge it?
It looks like it's charging. So this car actually has charging for your smartphone right in the car itself. You just put it on this pad, it holds it securely, and it charges your phone. That is really convenient, really convenient. You know, I'm liking this car. What do you think?
I like it. And what's the price again?
Well, unfortunately, the base price is $30,000, but unfortunately, this one's $43,000, so it's getting up there. But it's not $50,000 like the i8. How do you get? Oh, here it is. Okay, here we go. Now this car is more expensive because it is the S version. If you don't get an S version, you're gonna save some money. But does this car look aggressive enough for a teenager? Or is this what you're looking for in a car?
Not really. The outside doesn't look aggressive, and it doesn't look special.
Yeah, but it looks friendly though.
It does, but I'm not saying it's bad or anything. It's just not quite what I'm looking for.
Right. So not the perfect teenage car, but it's pretty close. It's got a lot of electronic features that a teenager would love in a car like this. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, when I was a kid, there was all sorts of Volkswagen Beetles around. The Beetle is still around, and this is it right here. This is the Dune edition, and it looks pretty nice. It's got like a nice sort of grayish white paint, a giant sunroof that's open right now. Let's check the price on this car. Okay, so as you can see, the base price, $21,000. The Dune model is $29,000. That's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. And it's really different looking, but will this appeal to a teenager? I don't know. Okay, we're inside the VW Bug Dune Edition, and it sort of does feel like an old car. It's got a flat dash here. The windshield is still fairly close, like the old Volkswagens, and it's definitely got a retro feel. Now that's not convenient. I gotta do two motions.
It's not even that big. Oh,
yeah.
I thought that was above.
See, I gotta do two motions to get this thing open, and it's so small.
But this is.
Oh, this is the regular one. Okay, this is regular. A little room for your phone here, and this is your little secret cubby. And okay, this car looks nice. The screen is small. We have a small screen, and we have regular gauges in here. We have piano black all around the whole dash face. Automatic, of course. Sean, what do you think about this car?
Hold on.
Okay, so we have manual controls for the seats.
Yeah.
And of course, at the price point, that can happen. No power seats. Let's see, we have two cup holders here. We have a 12 volt here. Oh, there's your engine start button on the bottom. Kind of surprised they have it on the center console. Usually they have it on the dash or by the steering wheel. We have a little room for your smartphone right here, but we have no connectivity.
Yeah, like auxiliary and
okay, sorry, we have auxiliary and USB right here, which is nice to see in the front of the car. I like that. Climate controls here. Like I said, two cup holders and a very small little center.
probably for your phone or something.
Yeah, just big enough for a smartphone. That's not very big at all. Okay, is the seat comfortable?
Kind of. Yeah, it's pretty comfortable actually.
Seats are pretty comfortable. We have a very large sunroof here. Should have called it the Sunbug instead of the Dune edition. This is a very large sunroof, lots of space there. I think the visibility is pretty good. What do you think? Going around the back, it's not too bad.
Pretty good.
And this car has room for four. This car has room for 4 people. Now this looks nice, this piano black, but this is a hard surface. A little hard on your elbow when you're like trying to cruise and pick up chicks. Yeah. Okay. So Sean, what do you think about this car?
It's a good car, and for his price, it's not bad, but
Definitely.
it's just lacking some things.
Lacking some features. It's definitely different from your regular cars, so you'll definitely be noticed if you drive this car. Is it cool for a teenager?
Kind of. The bug look doesn't usually appeal to many people, but I can see some people liking it.
Yeah, absolutely, because the Bug was popular for an earlier generation. The younger people really don't know very much about the old Volkswagen Bug. So I don't know what the sales are like in this car. I'm not sure that this is a really high-selling car, but it's definitely different. Let's go on to the next one.
Plastic cover.
You win, plastic cover over the engine. Yeah, not too exciting. No. Okay, here we are at the VW Golf department, and of course this is a car that appeals to a lot of teenagers. 2018, base price $19,000. Model shown that we have right here, this nice green one, is $30,000. Let's check it out. Okay, now we're in the Golf, the nice green that we just took a look at, and right away I'm seeing a big screen. I like that. But is it a big screen? No, actually the screen position is right here. It looks fairly big though. That's not a bad size. Nice and flat. Really shows the fingerprints though.
It does have a map.
Yep, we've got the navigation up and working right here. Good visibility in this car. You can see right to the front. I feel like I'm quite high up in this car. It's good visibility. Yes, we've got some nice patterns, some nice materials. It's definitely not an expensive car. You're not going to have the high quality materials of some of the other cars we looked at. This is of course automatic. It's a good way to start out driving with an automatic as you learn. Engine start, nice silver button down here. Even the more least expensive cars now have engine start buttons and of course remotes. What do you think, Sean, about this car?
I think it's a cool car for about 30,000. It's nice, and also we got a weightlifter.
Oh yes, I've noticed that these Volkswagens seem to have very stiff.
Well, that you can see inside your trunk, and there's 2 cup holders.
Right, there's a pass-through right to the trunk there. That is
See all
cool.
the people that you had in.
All the bodies. Yeah. And there's your cup holders.
But one thing I have about this is that you have to actually
Yes,
pull this.
when you put it back, you pull the lever up and then do it, or else you could wreck the upholstery. And then it just goes back into place, and there you go. So it's a pretty good place for rear seat passengers. What's it like for the driver?
Visibility is okay, I guess. I can see over the car, and the electric seats actually are very good. And there's lots of different features and stuff. The gauges look a little bit old.
Yep, just ordinary analog gauges, but you do have the screen here, but the gauges are not too exciting.
Material, it's okay in some places, but in other places it seems a little cheap.
Oh, and what do we have here? Okay, I saw like a hidden compartment, and we do have a place for your smartphone to charge with a USB, I believe, that's it,
Yep.
and an auxiliary. That's pretty good. I like it when they have it in the front. That's convenient.
Also, this is automatic, so that's even better.
Yep, a good way for a teenager to start, automatic. That's the way to go. Climate controls right here. This car is actually fairly upscale for the price. It's got lots of different colors and features around the interior. The textures are different. I think this is a good buy, especially for a teenager. I think this is one of your top choices.
Definitely.
Yep, so a Volkswagen Golf. Let's take a look on the outside. Okay, so it's not the most aggressive car out there, but at least it has some sportiness, at least compared to a Mini. I cannot believe this. This is an original Honda Civic. I actually drove one of these back in the day. This looks like maybe a 1976. Look how small these cars were back then. They were truly economy cars. Okay, this is the Civic Type R. This is a car that a lot of teenagers might like. It is definitely in-your-face styling, very aggressive, and it is $40,000. Lots of features on this car to look at. Okay, so the exterior is a little extreme. Do you think a teenager is going to like this kind of styling?
Definitely. It's very aggressive and it has lots of different tones to it.
Okay, yeah, so you have piano black, shiny. You got satin, you got some fake grills here, you got some holes here. You got a nice sort of carbon look front diffuser. It's very busy, but it's aggressive. You got serious brakes there, you got Brembo brakes, so this is actually a serious car. And let's move around to the side and then the back here. What do you think of this? Sean, how many spoilers do you need?
I don't need that many.
Okay, how many do we have? Okay, we have the wind deflectors here. We got this little side strake. We got the first wing. Then we have another wing here. And of course, plus the rear diffusers. So yeah, this is pretty busy car.
I think it's too busy.
What's your impression about the back end here?
I don't really like it. It's a little too busy and a little too many things going on. I don't like the double spoiler. I feel like it's getting in the way a little bit. The back end just doesn't look quite right to me. Otherwise I love the car. It looks amazing.
Yeah, they may have went a little bit too far in the back end. It's a little extreme, but still, this is a car that a lot of teenagers are going to like. A lot of people are going to like. It's got a nice interior. Let's take a quick look inside here. You actually have a lot of room in the back here. Wow. And sporty red seat belts.
This doesn't look right to me. Like it's curving and then just
they had to cut in. So you have like these, this is like a wide body kit that had to be cut in for the door, right? Yeah, that sort of ruins the lines a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so would you say this is one of your top choices for a teenage car?
It's definitely one of the top, but definitely not the top. There's a few other cars that definitely surpass it.
Yeah. What about the Golf? Would you take the Golf or this car?
Probably the Golf. It's cheaper, and I know it doesn't really look that cool, but yeah. I'll take the Golf.
Okay, let's keep going over there. Okay, here we have a regular Honda Civic Si. It's a lot less boy racer. It's got just a small wing, and it's a little more conservative. This is a little less expensive. This particular car is a manual car, and we are in a regular Civic Si. It's a lot less boy racer than the Type R, less expensive too, and you know, it may be actually better looking. What do you think?
I think it does look better. It definitely looks a lot similar, and but the back end is a little less busy, and
yeah,
I really like that.
Yeah, back end's less crazy. Still got a lot of great features. You got a fairly big touchscreen, but not as big as some cars, but not too bad for the price point. You do have a start and stop. You do have a charging station for your phone right here. Okay, USB's on down. Okay, sir. Okay, we have a little hidden section here. This is where you actually put your phone. This is where you charge it. We have a power outlet here and a little bit of storage. You got a nice, fairly large glove box. And, oh, one thing that's really important for a teenager is heated seats. They all love it. We got room for 3 in the back. It's big, it's practical, but what about the visibility?
Look at this. There's actually a lot of room in here.
Wow. We have a super deep, you could actually fit a cat in here. If you had a cat, this is where the cat would go. It's a huge spot. But where's the cup holders?
You have another USB.
You have the USB. Where's the cup holders? Anybody? Where's the cup holders? Teenagers need their power drinks. Okay.
Is there anything you can bring forward?
Okay, I suspect there's something supposed to be here, but they've taken it off to make sure that teenagers don't steal it. Anyway, not much cup holders. You don't have anything in the front side here, so I'd say the cup holder count is down with the Civic. Electronics is good, nice screen there, push start. And what about the visibility here?
It's not too great.
No.
I wouldn't say it's too great. You got like, it's a little hard to touch the window. It goes very far.
Because of the design, the windshield goes way out there. Sort of wrecks your visibility. You got very large A-pillars, so it's not ideal for a first-time driver. Of course, this is a manual, which some people can start off with, but an automatic is usually the way most people learn to drive. But overall, what do you think about this car?
I think it's pretty good. The visibility is the only complaint I have, actually.
Okay, so I think we're going to put this on one of our top of our list here. One of the cars that would be great for a teenager. It's practical, fuel efficient, kind of sporty, does the job. Okay, you guys know that I have a 2013 Scion FRS, which is the same as this car here, which is a Toyota 86. And I gotta say, from personal experience, this is a great first-time buyer's car. Is this car good for a teenager? And I'm gonna have to say yes. The design's a little bit old, but this is a driver's car. You know, it handles fantastic. It is low powered, but that's okay. This is an automatic. And we have our climate controls here. Kind of cool switches.
They do.
There's sort of like rocker switches here. That's kind of cool. We do have a nice screen here. Small though, very small.
Start-stop button.
Start-stop button. And look at the steering wheel. This is made for performance. You've got a small driver-oriented steering wheel with the minimum of controls on it. You have a very comfortable seats that are very, very tight. If you're a big guy, these are going to feel a little tight, but for most teenagers, it's going to be just fine. Oh, nice soft surfaces here to rub your elbow on. And
paddle shifters.
Paddle shifters for the automatic. Okay, we only have room for 2 people in the back. It's kind of tight, but there is room. This is a very sporty car. You've got seat warmers. You don't have any cover over the center console, which has always annoyed the owners of these cars. There is a device that fits in here that will fit 2 cups. It's not really attractive compared to many cars. You do have a 12 volt here and a USB right in the front.
Look how tiny this is. What are you going to put in here?
And you can't fit a phone. So this is a little inconvenient. There's no actual place for a phone to charge or to be placed here. So that's a little inconvenient. A bit of an older design. It's been upgraded slightly, but this car is good because of its driver oriented. It is a fun, sporty car. Drive one and you'll know what I mean. But what does a teenager think about it?
I think it's a cool car. It's definitely very sporty and has a good amount of features. And I find this actually really cool. These buttons here.
The rocker switches. Yeah, my car doesn't have that. This is an upgrade.
Wait, these don't move.
No, they just rotate.
Oh, this is where the lights.
That's where you'll have all the diagrams showing you what it is, heat and blower, and a fair size ordinary plastic glove box. Nothing special there. It's not an expensive car, and that's why we're considering it. Now, Sean has actually driven in a car like this for many years, but mostly in the back seat. But pretty soon he's going to be in the front seat, and he'll give you a real review at that time. But for now, what do you think?
I like it.
Yep. Not quite as practical for as some cars. Your trunk is smaller, although not bad. The rear seats fold down. Not as much room as a GTI and some of the other cars we looked at for carrying your friends. If you have big friends, they're gonna have a trouble. But otherwise, if you've got just 2 people, it's a great car for a teenager. What about the visibility?
It's pretty good. I think when I get taller, it would be better.
Yeah.
The 8 pillars are okay.
8 pillars are there. You can never avoid that nowadays. You can actually see the tops of the fenders on either side. That sort of helps you mark where the road is.
Yeah.
And so it's not bad. And there is some obstruction in the rear 3/4 view because this is a coupe. It is a fastback. That's part of the styling.
And on to the exterior.
Okay. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, if we're looking at the exterior of the Toyota 86, it's got a redesigned front end, but it still looks very aggressive, very, very smooth. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I like the old design a little bit better, but this is still fantastic. This car is selling for $29,000. There's a few options that bring it up to $34,000, like that automatic transmission, but still, that is a deal for a car that handles like this one does. Now let's go around to the back. It is pretty aggressive, but we do have a wing. Nothing like the Civic Type R craziness, but this is a pretty good wing. What do you think?
I like it. It's small, but it's a nice touch.
It's a nice touch. They got redesigned taillights that are kind of a little bit more cool than the ones they originally came with. You've got a nice reflector at the back. This car is just, well, what can I say? You know I like it, right? Okay, everybody. Guess where we're at? Here you go. We are in a Challenger, 2019 Challenger Hellcat. This is the perfect car for a teenager, right?
Definitely.
Okay, we got a large, big, huge screen here, which I know so well in my Charger Hellcat. Climate controls here, automatic, which is the fastest way to go. This is an 8-speed transmission, very quick shifts. You have 2 cup holders here.
Kind of small.
It's lit up. They're smaller than the ones in the Charger, not quite as nice. You do have a center console with USB connectivity, 12 volt, and it's not
Auxiliary
that big.
and 2 USBs actually.
Yeah. Now, of course, it's not quite as big as the Charger because we are in a Challenger. We have, and of course, we have the red start-stop button. We have the red start-stop button, and we have beautiful red face gauges because this is a Hellcat. So, Sean, you've driven in a Charger Hellcat, but do you think you would be happy to have a Challenger Hellcat?
Definitely. I'd be happy with either or, actually.
Yeah. And you think it's safe for a teenager to have 707 horsepower?
No.
But you still want it anyway. Okay, so it's not $90,000, but it is $81,000, and after all markups, perhaps $83,000. But one of the best things about a Hellcat is that you can actually see the motor. It's something you can show to your friends. You got a supercharger sitting right there. It's metal. You can touch it. Of course, this is a beautiful car, and it's a large car. A little hard to park, but just look at this car. Okay, should I get my son Sean this Dodge Demon for his 16th birthday, or should I get him that? Okay, this is more practical, obviously, for a teenager. Let's check this car out. Okay, we are in the Fiat 500C. C for, I guess, cabriolet. It's very open here. I can put my hand out here. It's open. This is cool. It's very white in here. We have white upholstery. We have an automatic transmission. We have a speaker system. Okay, I guess that's for something else. We have heated seats. And we have a rather small screen in the front. We have a single gauge. We have a white steering wheel. Is this the perfect teenage car or what? Okay, so this car has style, but it's got a lot of cheap plastic. These are very hard surfaces. You can see where the price point is being met here. This is not an expensive car, but they've tried to put style into it, which you can appreciate. These are the window switches on the sides here, not on the doors, which is interesting. And the cup holders are minuscule and very hard to reach. I can't see that being useful at all.
Back here.
And there's cup holders in the back. They're also small.
But the seats in the back are really hard.
Yeah,
They
not
don't look very comfortable.
Not
They're
too
completely
comfortable.
flat.
Yes,
They don't even hug your butt.
completely flat. These seats are, well, they're not really tight, but they're not too bad. You do have these neat little minivan style armrests. That's kind of cool. Do you think your friends would be impressed if you showed up at the high school with this?
Definitely not. No.
Okay, so this is definitely a no. Okay, so this is the Fiat 500C Lounge Cabrio for $26,000, which is definitely within the price range for perhaps a teenager, but at least in Sean's case, this does not appeal to him. To others, it might. Okay, so today we looked at a few cars that a teenager, such as my son Sean, would definitely like to have as their first car when they're 16. Some are practical, some are impractical, some are crazy, some are not so crazy, but it's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to look at them. I'm glad that you came with us to look at some of the cars that are available at the Vancouver International Auto Show. Okay, anyway, thanks for watching Photomikes Garage. I will see you next time. And a Jeep would be perhaps the best car for a teenager because, you know, teenagers don't really know how to drive very well and they might hit curbs.